Hey, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll teach you how to reclaim your true, authentic self. And when I say authentic self, I don't mean some big, mysterious version of you that you have to go searching for. It's actually the you that already exists when you drop all those masks and the shoulds and the shouldn'ts. It's living in alignment, where your choices, your words, and your actions match what you really, truly value. Not just what other people expect. It's self-acceptance, embracing your strengths and your flaws without trying to squeeze yourself into somebody else's mold. It's freedom, making decisions from a place of truth instead of fear or guilt. And it's flow. Life feels a little less forced and a little more like it's carrying you forward naturally. So, have you ever caught yourself moving through your day on autopilot? Almost like you're here, but you're not really present. Or does this sound like you? You get up, you make your coffee, you rush about, getting out the door, you're off to work, and then you take care of everyone else's needs, and before you know it, the day is gone, and you just can't quite pick out a clear moment of presence where you actually took the time to breathe and to notice where you are. And then the next day, it's just the same thing all over again. Well, for many women over 40, being on autopilot becomes the default setting. We've been conditioned to care for others, to keep everything running smoothly, to not rock the boat. But somehow, somewhere along the way, our true selves, our spark, our creativity, our voice, it gets buried under the routine. It's not that we're unhappy all the time, it's just that life starts to feel like a loop, a script that we didn't write, but somehow we ended up memorizing. And the thing is, nature doesn't work that way. Out in the forest, nothing runs on autopilot. The trees are constantly aware and reaching for the light, adapting to the wind and finding new ways to grow. Rivers carve new paths. Flowers open and bloom, and then they let go so that new life can appear again. Even the smallest mushrooms or wildflowers quietly find their place in the ecosystem, each fulfilling a role perfectly without needing to overthink it. Nature is in a constant state of renewal. It's never stuck, it's never stagnant, and it's always present, and they're always their authentic self. So today, I want to have a heart-to-heart conversation with you about how to break out of that autopilot living and reclaim a self that you might feel that you've lost. We're going to look at what nature teaches us about change, growth, and renewal, and how you can apply those lessons to your own life. To make things simpler, I put together a free PDF guide for you. It's just 4 pages long, but it walks you through the very first step in reconnecting with your authentic self and using nature as your guide to bring more light and joy into your life. Whenever you feel yourself falling back into autopilot, you can use this as a gentle reminder to come back to what feels real and true. You'll find the link waiting for you in the comments below. Here's the thing. Being your authentic self really comes back to being present. I had to learn that the hard way. There was a time in my life when I realized I had been running on autopilot without even noticing it. There was a time when my days were so hectic and so full of chores and errands and work. I woke up, I got ready, I went through all the motions, and I checked the boxes. And if you'd asked me how I was doing, I just would have said, I'm fine. But the truth was, I wasn't really living. I was just existing. Just plugging along with all my duties. There never seemed to be time for just me, and I didn't even know what I wanted to do that was different, or fun, or just for me. What did I like? I really couldn't tell you, because I really didn't know. What I remember most was this constant sense of being busy, yet I'm strangely unfulfilled. My schedule was full, but my heart, it felt empty. My heart felt empty. I wasn't laughing as much. I wasn't creating. I wasn't listening to that quiet inner voice that used to guide me. Even simple things like noticing the sunrise or enjoying a cup of tea in silence. There just was no time to just be. Once again, I was washing those dishes after dinner, and everyone else just disappeared into the living room to go watch that movie. And I wondered why I can't just go in there and relax and watch it also. Why did I feel like I had to keep going? Well, it was because there was nobody else who was going to do it, because it was still going to be there for me in the morning, and then it would still be there when I got home from work the next day. But didn't I matter? Didn't I need to rest and rejuvenate? Didn't I need to pause and be present with my family? That moment, it didn't magically change everything, but it was the first crack in the autopilot shell. It was the realization that somewhere along the line, I had traded in my curiosity and authenticity for routine and obligation. And once you see that, you just can't unsee it. So I finally got to the point where I could spend some time outdoors. The kids were older now, and I could just sit and breathe and just be. It felt wonderful, blissful even. I started to notice how much nature has to teach us about growth, renewal, and stepping back into our true selves. I realized that reclaiming my life didn't mean suddenly changing everything. It meant learning to observe, reflect, and choose, with intention, how I wanted to show up each day. Take trees, for example. Every year they shed their leaves. They don't cling to what no longer serves them. They release without fear because they know the cycle of renewal will bring new life in the spring. Imagine if a tree tried to keep every leaf that it ever grew. Its branches would be weighed down, unable to stretch toward that light. Yet so many of us do that. We hold onto that old routine. There are old identities and even beliefs that no longer nourish us. Or think about those rivers. A river never flows in a perfectly straight, predictable line. It curves, bends, and sometimes crashes into rocks, and even carves entirely new paths. The river doesn't fight against the terrain, it moves with it, reshaping itself as it goes. In our lives, we often resist change. We try to keep everything controlled and predictable, even when our soul is craving a new direction. Nature also teaches us about resilience. After a wildfire, what looks like devastation is actually an opening for new growth. Seeds that have been waiting underground suddenly sprout. The soil becomes richer. Renewal begins. It reminds me that even when life feels like it has burned us out, it could be the very ground for something new and more authentic to grow. Even in the tiniest details, nature is teaching us lessons about timing, patience, and trust. Moss doesn't grow overnight. Flowers bloom at their own pace, and yet, when we watch closely, we see life unfolding in perfect rhythm. If we're willing to slow down and pay attention, that is. So, how do we take these lessons from nature and actually use them in our everyday lives? Well, here are three core ways that we can pause, release, and grow, just like nature does. Insight number one: pause and notice the patterns. In the forest, nothing rushes. Trees don't wake up one morning and decide that they have to grow 5 feet by tomorrow. Growth happens slowly, naturally, with pauses built into every season. For us, the first step is the pause, the act of noticing. Most of us don't even realize we're living on autopilot until we stop and take a breath. Journaling, walking in nature, or simply sitting quietly with yourself can open your eyes to the routines and thought patterns that have been running your life. Just like the rings inside of a tree tell the story of every year it's lived, your habits tell the story of where you have been. During this pause, notice how you spend your energy. Are there moments when you feel alive and fully present? And are there moments that leave you drained or disconnected? This is the first step in reclaiming your autonomy and living intentionally. And don't forget that free PDF that's waiting for you in the comments. Inside, you'll discover the first step to uncovering your authentic self and letting nature guide you back to joy and light. Think of it as your pocket reminder whenever you need to break free from autopilot and return to what makes you feel alive. Just check the comments below and grab your copy. Insight number 2: release what no longer serves you. Nature is constantly letting go. Trees drop their leaves, flowers close at night, snakes shed their skins. None of these things cling to the old out of fear. They release, because releasing makes space for the new. For us, this might look like letting go of outdated beliefs about who we should be, or releasing commitments that drain our energy instead of fueling us. Maybe it's setting boundaries. Maybe it's forgiving yourself for choices that you made in the past. Whatever it is, that shedding is essential. Without it, we stay stuck in roles and routines that no longer match the woman that we are becoming. Even tiny acts of letting go, like clearing a cluttered drawer or saying no to something that isn't energizing, that can create space needed for something truly fulfilling so that you can grow. Insight number 3: grow toward the light. Every plant, no matter how small, knows to turn towards the sun. Even in the harshest of environments, nature finds a way to reach for what sustains it, and that's our call too. Reclaiming your true self isn't just about noticing and releasing. It's also about actively moving toward what brings you joy, meaning, and vitality. Maybe that means rekindling a forgotten passion. Maybe it means surrounding yourself with people who uplift you. Or maybe it's as simple as giving yourself permission to rest, dream, and explore new ideas. By practicing these 3 steps, pausing, letting go, and moving towards your own light, you begin to live intentionally again. And that's why I created the free checklist, to guide you in staying connected to your true self every day. So, my friend, if you've been feeling like life has been on repeat, you wake up, you work, you have all these responsibilities, and then you go to sleep and repeat, remember, you're not stuck. You have the capacity to pause and notice and release and grow. Nature shows us every day that change isn't just possible, it's inevitable. And when we embrace it, we reconnect with our truest selves. The self who is vibrant, creative, and fully alive. Reclaiming your life doesn't have to be overwhelming. Take a walk. Watch the trees sway. Notice the river's path. And ask yourself, where in my life am I moving automatically instead of intentionally? Let that awareness guide your next step. And don't forget about that free 4-page PDF packet where you'll discover the first step in uncovering your authentic self and letting nature guide you back to joy and light. Just check those comments below to grab your copy. Remember, just like nature, you are constantly capable of renewal. You don't need permission to grow. You don't need permission to reclaim your spark. You only need to say yes to yourself. Just for today, and then tomorrow, and the next day, until living fully awake becomes your new default. You've got this, and the world is waiting for the full, authentic, vibrant woman that only you can be. And to help you further, you can watch this video on how you can go from chaos to calm in 3 easy steps by letting nature be your guide. It goes deeper into nature's lessons.